back, relax, chill, you'll be cool. Alright, so gang, just so that you know, folks, I'm currently doing a certificate for in training and assessing, and part of one of my assignments is to record a group learning session. So I'm trying to demonstrate that I can facilitate group learning, and with your permission I'll be recording this week's class and next week's class. If you have a problem with me recording, please do not feel uncomfortable to tell me. If you don't want me to record it now, let me know and I will stop recording. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it in front of everybody here, come and get me after class and I'll delete the recording. But I want you to know that it is not you who's being assessed right now, it's me. Okay, so just take comfort in that.
So we'll play up then.
Play up heaps and heaps. Alright, my computer.
Is it logged on?
It is logged on. How do I get into? I'm not a Windows user. I don't hang on computer. My computer. We're good. We're good, guys. So how do we make this work? How do we make that work? I want you to be able to see the screen.
Only the online one.
The red button, press the red button.
We're good, we got it. No, we're all good. Alrighty, educational research. Is it working? It's warming up, isn't it? Alrighty gang, so today, is that better? Yeah. Excellent. Alrighty, so today we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to go through a bit of a PowerPoint presentation. Basically today is all about transforming an educational research problem into an educational research question. Who had a chance to do the reading or to read any of the book this week? What chapter did you get to read?
I read up to 4.
Yeah, and they start talking about how to transform it into a question. Excellent. It's a really good chapter to read, guys. Especially if you guys are starting to try and work on your mapping exercise. Yeah. I remember last week I mentioned that you need to have a broad area, but you need to start getting a bit of focus. Okay, because the areas that Ken has suggested, and I know some of you have emailed me with some questions about the topics, and I'll get back to them today. The areas that Ken has suggested are very, very broad. Yeah? You may or may not have noticed that by doing a search into that broad area brings up heaps of readings. How many readings are you supposed to use for your assignment?
7.
Minimum 7. How are you going to choose which 7 to use?
Reading them all.
Reading them all. How likely do you think it is that you're going to read them all?
Go to the abstract, check it out, and then read the findings.
So at some point you're already starting to have a bit of a focus by going, yeah, look, I'm going to choose this and I'm going to choose that, I'm going to choose this and I'm going to choose that, yeah? You may have a broad, so your broad area in your assessment, in your, what am I calling it? Mind map, the broad area in the middle is going to have like a series of thought bubbles that are like summaries of each of the readings that you do, isn't it, yeah? But you can't summarize everything. Yeah, you could pretty much fill up the whole mind map with a summary of one article almost, right? You have to start making some choices, and this is what I mean when I say you're going to start to focus in on what really interests you, what engages you, right? Without ignoring all these other variables that are at play. But by doing the mind map, what you're demonstrating is that you are aware of all the things that are related to the broad topic area, but you're showing how your awareness of these things is drawing you into a particular direction, into a particular focus. Because one of the biggest problems with creating research questions is that they're either too broad or too specific. We have to find the balance between the two. Okay, so that's what today's all about. We'll go through some of the stuff relating to the question, to the assignment. Alrighty, gang. So what we've got is basically we've got a PowerPoint we're going to go through that just kind of goes through some of the contemporary issues and problems relating to education, for example, you know, new technologies, behaviour management, underachievement, that sort of stuff. And what we're going to do is look at how we can identify a broad problem like behaviour management or access to resources and turn that into a question. Any questions so far? No. Alrighty, too easy. So, research begins with a problem. Okay, and I don't want this to be a lecture. It's not going to take too long. Can someone read out one of those problems?
Yep. New technologies are frequently being introduced into the classroom without much guidance about how to make best use of them.
Excellent. You see how that's a problem? Yeah? All these new technologies, there's not much guidance. That's a problem. Excellent. Yeah? Someone else, the next one?
The class has become particularly unruly and typical classroom antics when strategies have failed.
That's what I face in this classroom every week, isn't it? See how that's a problem? Yeah? Excellent. What do we got? Okay, that's good. Have a go.
A larger number of students than usual appear to be underachieving relative to their potential.
Not in this class. That's a problem. Yeah? Children have potential. They're not achieving, they're not reaching their potential. Excellent. Last one.
A gifted and talented student in a regular classroom appears to be unfulfilled by the normal curriculum.
Ah, there we go. It's always good to pick a topic you can relate to. Alrighty, so what would you do with one of those if you want to create a research plan? What would you do to that? Talk me through it.
Keywords
Okay.
that relate to the problem.
Yeah, okay, so what you do, what you're finding keywords that relate to the problem, why?
So you can research articles.
Excellent, so you can research articles, get information. Cool. Excellent. What else? Right, yeah, awesome, awesome. Do a literature review of stuff. That's where the keywords will be really helpful. Awesome. This is other people's research. Wonderful. Are we talking about other people's research?
Yes.
No?
Differing opinions? Talk me through it. Who says no?
Well, I was going to say that you're using this to make a question to then go and do your own research.
Nice. Yeah? So you're using this to inform a question to do your own research. The problem alone is not the research. The problem alone is just the starting point. You're identifying a problem. You're researching other people's interpretation of the problem. Yeah? But as researchers, we have to take it the next step. We have to research something. For us to research something, we need a question. Yeah, the problem alone is not the problem, is not the issue. All right. So let's get to one of the problems. All right. So we have to try and articulate a research problem. Yeah. So who remembers the Gonski report? Who's in my FE class? Yeah. Who knows the Gonski report? Who's in my bloody FE class? Your hand should be straight up. What's the Gonski report? Educate, that's an awesome word. Excellent. Let's put it in a sentence with a context so that it can become something slightly more meaningful. Right? So, what is it? What's the Gonski report?
Doesn't it report on funding and where certain funding is going?
Excellent.
In the education system?
Excellent. You've got a device. You've got access to the wonderful interweb. Let's see if we can work it out. Who remembers what the Gonski report was? I know that you've got it. It is about funding. It's about education. Excellent. What else is it about?
Does it relate to poor student performance and
Excellent.
and stuff like those literacy and numeracy?
Excellent, right? What was it doing? It was looking at education funding, funding, poor performance in schools in terms of numeracy and literacy.
Was it funding those schools that had the low results?
Excellent. It was about finding, it was about identifying some of the problems in schools in terms of poor performance and suggesting that we need to address the schools that are performing poorly. Yeah? What else was it? Come on, come on. What do you got there, Joe?
I'm just getting the internet working.
What have we got? Who's starting to become a teacher? No. That's not what I want to see. Who's starting to become a teacher? Excellent. Gonski report is really important. If you are starting to become a teacher, you need to be aware of the Gonski report and its impact on national funding to schools and its relationship to the NAPLAN testing, yeah, standardised testing of numeracy and literacy, right? Okay, so Joe, what have you got?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Slow internet.
All right.
How many likes you get on that picture?
So the research question that the Gonski report was looking at, the research problem was that trainee teachers will have to prove their literacy and numeracy proficiency, and this is only one of the things, and the popular diploma in education qualification will be scrapped as part of an overhaul of university education degrees. This is one of the problems that was identified in the Gonski report, right? Generally, the Gonski report was looking at the performance of students across the board, looking at what kind of things affected performance. It made a relationship between socioeconomic factors, bloody FE students, and performance in schools. It said that some schools are disadvantaged and we need to start diverting our funding, our resources and our good teachers to those schools. Yeah? But we also need to develop, and one of the offshoots was that we need to develop some form of standardised testing to be able to find out which of those schools that are not performing. Okay? In terms of literacy and numeracy. Right? And one of the problems was there are a lot of trainee teachers who were not performing well because of the DipEd qualification. Yeah? So they were going to scrap it. Get rid of it. That's a problem, right? There was a suggestion to compensate teachers in-service teachers based upon their quality rather than the length of service as a teacher. There was a suggestion to go, we're going to pay you more because you're a better teacher, not because you've been here for 20 years. What do you think of that?
How do you define like a better teacher?
Great question. Put it to the class.
How do you define a teacher? What's a better teacher? Every or different elements that you have to look at and consider.
Excellent. Such as?
Well, you got to look at how they work with kids. You've also got to look at how they work with peers, and everything like teamwork, and have to look at professional standards, how much kids are learning, pedagogy.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. What else?
I think that there are real pressure then to teach to the text, and
Excellent.
kids wouldn't be learning or understanding them, they'd just be, writing answers that have been pre-given by teachers because they would look better at them.
Yeah, which is one of the problems that we have, isn't it? Yeah, teaching to the test.
I think it's quite unfair that they're saying that the longer you're there, you're not going to get the opportunities or whatever, because when they studied, they weren't those, like they didn't have the levels of literacy and numeracy that they're expecting now, but they never had the chance during their degree to get to that point kind of
Excellent.
thing. Like, you know what I
Nice.
mean?
Excellent ideas.
They're not on the same basis.
Yeah, so there are all these other factors at play as well. Anyone else want to build on that? Anyone disagree?
I don't think you could put two teachers against each other that have good grades in a sense, or that students have good results, and say, yeah, we want to pay you more when these students come out of class or going home talking about class. I don't think you could do that in a sense. I don't think you could rate a teacher on their quality. Yes, you can define a bad teacher or a teacher that's less motivating and things like that, but I don't think that would work. I don't think paying teacher by quality is going to work.
Excellent. What else? This looks like this might start up some discussion.
So much effort in like policing it and like all the resources that go into that, well, why not just address the problem by giving teachers like the ability to get better? Does that make
Excellent.
sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. So we've got a problem. We've got all these different ideas.
I was just going to say, going to judge based on those results, the teacher might have already had a bunch of students that are already up there, and yet you're got another teacher that might have had a lot more challenging children and has done such a terrific job with them, and yet their results, those NAPLAN results don't reflect.
Beautiful. So their performance is not just based on the teacher, it's also based on the cohort. Anything else? Loving it.
Might not be that supportive to older, like it might have encouraged people to stay in the profession for a long time.
Wonderful.
And that's like, if, especially on prac, like sometimes the older teachers have such good experience and can help you so much, whereas you might not get that because they're teachers that are just trying to hit a pay level. If they come to that, they might just go with something else.
Excellent. Wonderful ideas coming out, guys. Wonderful ideas. We now have a problem, and we have all these different suggestions on how to interpret it. Now remember, this is an educational research topic, right? This is an educational research course. What we're trying to do is work out how evidence-based research will inform best practice. And every single one of those points that you raised, every single one of those questions that you asked, could form the basis of a research program. To say, well, all right, hang on. Don't just drop the funding. Don't just drop the course. We've got to find out if it's going to make a difference. We're going to find out if it's a viable option. So let's do a bit of research. Let's go and find out if it disadvantages people of an older age. Let's go and find out if it is dependent on the abilities of the teacher or the ability of the cohort. Yeah? You see, let's go and find out if it shapes teachers' practices so they're not actually providing better education, they're just teaching to the test. Yeah? All those points that you've raised form the basis of a potential research question. So you're all doing the right thing. You all have the faculties. You all have the bits and bobs, okay? So each of those, any of these problem areas, any of those points that we've raised could form the basis of a research question. So let's now look at some of these problems that were raised before and turn them into a question. Yeah, oh, hang on, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Sorry, go. Alright, so alrighty, have a look at these problems and turn them into a question. Turn them into a research question.
If you were talking about new technologies, you could specify new technologies, so maybe like iPads or tablets. So, a question.
Alright, I'll tell you what, everybody. Just take a couple of minutes, talk to the person next to you, get a chance to kind of brainstorm these ideas with each other, get your mouths flowing, and we will bring it back in a second, okay? So just start looking at these problems, just in the same way you did before. You were able to go, well, hang on, you know, let's ask some questions about the relevance of making a claim relating to new technologies in the classroom, or, you know, scrapping the dip end or whatever. Talk to each other, start seeing if you can generate, just choose one question, try and generate a question out of it. Yeah, one problem, try and generate a question out of it, yeah? Talk to each other now for a minute.
How does like guidance basically?
Yeah, some guidance.
Two groups teachers want the together. You can probably go more specific.
Based on the problem, what are you going to do with it? Which one are you choosing? Classroom manager. You've got loads of kids that are unruly in the class. But if you were to ask a broad, so for example, what has changed since you which I mean, excellent. So we might phrase that as say, classroom becomes unruly. What issues, what broader issues are affecting the behaviours of your class? You know what I'm saying? You can frame that in there. What new management strategies are there? What opportunities are there for jobs to be managed? How effective are you?
Especially like the
We go out and we
How are you doing?
else that might be useful, so I don't want to use this as a couple of questions.
Which one are you dealing with?
Yeah, it'll be like free time. So our teacher did. It's like free time. Yeah, it's obviously there for a reason, not just like free time. Yeah.
What other things do you use in classroom? What other technologies in classroom usually have? Yeah, excellent. Yeah, how do we use a smart whiteboard? Because aren't always that smart. How you guys doing? Yeah, good man.
I just generally ask you
I'm sure one else will.
You need to go back there.
No, you don't ask me. No need some help.
One of the cake when it's done, please.
What problem are you dealing with? How would you turn that into a question?
I was mainly going on this about how, like, you see iPads in the classroom, rather than maybe seeing you as kind of after work and done, it's like play games and stuff. So how can you properly integrate them into a lesson?
All that actually.
Yeah.
But what's it like structures? Is that what's
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
like with education, it's still the teacher is just like, oh, you finished, you can use that now. And you're doing education stuff.
Research questions.
Maths groups that have
How are we going?
like one of the big
So that's like,
in which they do a narrative storyboard.
Just a way to I didn't get
Yeah. Right, yeah. That's what they probably are.
Excellent statement. Put it in your question.
Yeah.
So folks, if you've already generated a few questions for the problem that you were looking at, listen up folks, then look at the other problems and see if you can generate some more questions. Start developing those skills, okay? So, you know what I'm saying? That's a great statement. Rephrase that into a question. Yeah? How you guys doing? Smashed it? Tell me. It's not like you saw that thing. Perfect, Sam, smashed it.
You can pretty much choose any technologies and then ask how can you use it effectively in any subject.
Excellent. Yeah, nice. Beautiful. Yeah? Sweet.
I was thinking more like maybe different types of programs that teachers could use to learn how to use it properly, like which of them are effective.
Alrighty, gang. Seeing some really good stuff going on, guys. So I'm pretty confident that you guys sort of have this idea of how to turn a research problem into a question. The challenge is creating the kind of question that is not too broad or not too specific. What do you think I mean by a very specific question?
Like yes or no.
Yeah. You know, is it a good idea to use iPads in the classroom? Yes. There you go. It's not going to make up a big paper, right? Of course you wouldn't just say yes, you do other stuff, but it's limited. It offers you, it doesn't offer you much scope for exploration or growth or future research or you know, challenging perspectives. It's just yes or no. Yeah, too limited. The other problem with having a research question that is too limited is what? In terms of the research you have to do.
You don't get the whole picture maybe?
You don't get the whole picture. Excellent.
Like different angles.
Yeah, you don't look at you don't look at how other things affect it. Excellent. What else?
It might affect the type of research you could do, so you might not be able to do like quantitative and qualitative research, you might just be able to do like quantitative.
Excellent. Also, if it's so narrow.
So if it's too specific, you might not be able to find information on it.
Excellent. So these are the things you are going to have to think about when putting together your research proposals. If it's too narrow, you won't have any information. If it's too narrow, you'll only have a limited scope. But if it's too broad, you're not going to say anything. You know what I mean? So you've got to find that balance between the two. And part of this process is engaging in the mind map, doing the broader research so you have that bigger picture, and then focusing it into something that is manageable, that is a relevant research question. So let's look at some of the research questions that we have. Who'd like to share with the class their questions that they had? Should I ask a girl out?
That wasn't my question.
What have we got? Who wants to share with us some of the problems that they had on the board?
So we did the first one, and one of the questions we came up with was, how do teacher attitudes towards technology affect the use of this particular technology in the classroom?
Excellent. So instead of saying, use an example, because.
Yeah, for example, like iPads.
Okay. So how do teachers' attitudes to iPads affect
How they use it in the classroom?
how they use the iPad in class? Excellent question. Great. What else? What other questions did we have? Good question. In this group, did you do technology as well? A lot of people chose the first two. How'd you go? What was your question?
Something along the lines of how to properly integrate iPads into classroom and learning experiences.
Excellent. What other technologies can we use? So that's a good question. We can then also just substitute different technologies. What other technologies could we substitute into that question? Laptops. Excellent interactive whiteboards, that sort of stuff too, right? So we can make the question sufficiently focused on particular technologies, or we could broaden it out to be how can we integrate new technologies? You know what I mean? So you can go one of two ways. It's really up to you. So you can see how that same question can be more narrow or more broad. Yeah? I know there were a few people that did behaviour management. Would you like to talk us through it?
What factors influence the reason they are misbehaving?
Right.
Like what has made them become unruly?
Excellent. What factors affect student behaviour in classroom? Yeah?
What strategies have failed? So
What-
like looking at whether they're providing an incentive that students just don't want, or whether they're just punishing students with bad behaviour and they're not giving them the alternative.
Excellent. So looking at successful strategies, looking at unsuccessful strategies. Yeah, excellent. What else?
Maybe you get student choice. So, alright, if you don't like staying behind, what other formal punishment wouldn't be the right word, but what other formal consequence?
Excellent. So what then you've got is this broad topic of student choice. You want to try and insert that into a question. You know, so it's a really interesting idea. What I want to encourage you to do is then reframe them so that it's a clear question, so that you can assertively go, what's this about? You know what I mean? What's happening here? How is this affecting that? What is the relationship between this and that? Now you want to be able to refine it enough so the question is clear, so when someone sees your question, they know what you're investigating. And it makes them engaged in the topic so that they want to read what you've discovered. Yeah? So you want to have that punch right from the start. Alright, so let's look at how some suggestions. So for example, how can I best use an interactive whiteboard for science learning? There's a good question. Great. You guys pretty much came up with that. What's an effective strategy for dealing with defined behaviour? Same but different, right? Same but different. So you're on the right track. You just have to tweak it a little so it's a bit more assertive or a bit more it has a bit more clarity. How can I motivate students whose grades clearly do not match their potential? You know what I mean? Do gifted and talented students need different learning experiences? Yeah, so you just, and there are many different ways you can frame these questions, as you guys have done. So, what is a research question that may have been asked by the Gonski Review? So what do you think might be, we were talking about the Gonski report, what do you think might have been a research question that informed the Gonski Review?
lack of funding affects schools with low literacy results?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we can take it one step further. We can broaden it out a little bit. What do you think? How does
School performance?
excellent. How does funding affect school performance, for example? That's a great one. Yeah. Then you can then go, all right, do I want to be more specific? How does funding affect school performance in lower socioeconomic areas? Yeah? For example, that's pretty much what the Gonski report was all about. You cool with that? Is everybody clear on how to develop a research question out of a problem, out of a research problem?
Yeah.
Does everybody know the difference between the two? Excellent. Alright gang, so we have 20 minutes to go through the assignment. How are you feeling? Talk to me guys, talk to me. How are you feeling?
There's a lot of reading. Bringing it all back. Just putting all your ideas together in a cohesive map is not as simple as it seems.
No, it is not. It's a really good observation. It's not that simple to just do all the reading and put it into a cohesive map. What do you need to be able to make it intelligible? Themes, filters, so that it's not just, word vomit on a page, lots of different thought bubbles that don't connect, that are disparate, that is just like heaps of chaotic bits of information. Because when you read heaps of articles, that's what you've got going in your head. This is the thing about being a social researcher, is that you become the instrument that filters the information and provides clarity and coherency to the reader. You read all this stuff, all that stuff is available. You could just give the readings to somebody else if that's all you wanted to do, was get them to read all the information. You, as the researcher, you gather the information, you process the information, and you repackage it, or you represent it in an intelligible, coherent way. And you use themes to order that information, which means you have to have certain filters. Yeah? Because you can't just reproduce everybody else's information. You have to reproduce it with a goal in sight. And that goal is given to you by your research method.
From our main topic to our findings to everything else, do you want, obviously not everything's going to be referenced, but how, because everything is from the article that what this is, so do we reference everything?
Yeah, I was under the impression that you did have to provide the name of the article. Yeah.
Every single thing. Yeah, I didn't know if it was every single one, so I was like,
But
and then surely I've got it from my head somewhere. But then when I do gaps, then it wouldn't be referenced because that's where I've kind of been like, well, that's missing there. But still, I got it from the article that it's missing.
Yeah. So, okay, so remember, each of your different articles will have a different colour. How many articles do you need? Yeah. You're not just going to summarise everything because it's going to look crazy. It's going to look terribly chaotic. It's not going to make sense if you just put all the information. What you're doing is identifying key themes, looking at how they relate to each other and how they relate to your
Articles is the colour too?
Yeah, because I feel like each theme.
You can do it a number of different ways.
Because
Okay,
if
so-
you're finding similar themes throughout articles, it's sort of
Cool, awesome. Awesome. At the end of the day, it's a visual representation. Okay, so some people might work better with.
Alright, I was just trying to clarify.
That's okay. The point is that you have to find a way of representing it that makes sense and that isn't too crazy. Yeah? I know, it's going to look a little bit weird at the moment.
So some of the other tutors have been really specific in the way that they say, don't do this, 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 and this. I've heard. So I'm just wondering if you have any things like that specifically that you do or don't want us to do. Because there have been things like don't have substrands, don't use the
This-
same reference twice out of the same pocket, like all these kind of things that they're saying don't do. So I'm just wondering. Yeah,
I'm
that's what I
marking
mean. You're
yours,
marking
guys.
so I wanna know
Listen,
what you want.
listen. I'm using the rubric that is available on Moodle. Can you see the rubric here?
Yeah.
This is available on Moodle. That's what I'm using. Okay? If there are specific instructions in here or specific instructions on the Moodle site, on the assessment instructions, that's what I'm using. Okay? From my perspective, I'm looking to see if it works. If it works, I'm cool with it. Yeah? If it satisfies the assessment criteria, if it follows the instructions, then it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're just really specific, even like using the certain colours and all this stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
The
god.
whole colour thing, that's
Yeah.
what threw me off. I'm like, is it really that sensitive?
Yeah, I
If
know.
I have a link from here to here, do you want me to just put a massive arrow because that doesn't look pretty?
Listen, as I say to all my students, I cannot pre-mark your assessments, okay, because that's not fair to the other students. I can't tell you, yes, that's going to work, because I only judge your finished product, not your intermediary ideas. Okay, so don't ask me for validation on those sorts of things, because unfortunately I can't give them to you. What we are assessing is your ability to understand and appropriately respond to the assessment task. If you have a big red arrow and it works, well then, and you've satisfied the assessment criteria, then I'm cool with it. If you have a big red arrow and it doesn't work, and it doesn't satisfy the assessment criteria, I'm not cool with it. So I can't tell you about the arrow. What I can tell you is that the instructions tell you quite clearly what constitutes a fail, a pass, a credit, a distinction and a high distinction. The instructions on Moodle explicitly tell you how many sources you have to use. Yeah? How many need to be primary or secondary. So,
Can I ask about that? You know how you said you wanted us to identify whether they were primary or secondary in the mind map?
Yeah.
Can we just give you a reference list and say which or do you want them actually on the box? Like, because I've just been putting like little S or a
remember,
P
you're
or
only
something.
handing in one A3 page.
Yeah. I got around that. I just put a different outline around what a primary was and what a secondary was, and then you just put it in the key black outline.
And the point
primary,
is, if
yellow.
I can identify, if you have a key, listening up folks, if you have a key and I can understand the key, we're cool. Yeah?
Can they all be primary?
Huh?
Can they all be primary?
What does it say in the assessment instructions?
There's minimum 4.
Right, what does that suggest?
Do more.
Excellent, excellent, wonderful.
Can I ask a question that might be
I love it.
Yeah, I know.
Can I ask a
We
question
probably
that
won't
might be
even know.
stupid?
There are no stupid questions.
So it says A3. How do you print out A3 on an A4 page printer?
Right, well, okay, first of all, let me just clarify, you can't.
Okay, you mentioned that.
You stretch it out.
Oh, okay.
The ones in the CLC, I think you can.
So,
I think in the main library as well.
You can get them in the main library, you can get them from places like, you can get them at Printeries, you can get Officeworks prints them out as well. And then, yes,
reference sheet, does that go with the A3 or online?
We need to print it out.
print it out. You're printing it out and handing it in to me.
So no reference list.
Hang on. I'm trying to get a video up, folks. Folks! For your entertainment, I'm now going to present for you a small video on how...
We've watched it.
Have you? Who hasn't seen it?
What is it?
Is it the one they showed in the
How
lecture?
to visual map.
Is this the one on
Okay, then we've all seen it.
You all seen it?
I don't know.
If you
Is
haven't,
it about Poplar?
has anyone seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, is this about
Have you all seen it?
girls
Yeah.
and science?
Yeah, yeah. Girls and science.
So you've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
So, am I safe to assume you've seen the video, you've got the marking rubric, you have access to the assessment instructions. There is a lot of information on the interweb about how to do a visual map. What I want you guys to do
Yes, just remember.
is to relax, have a bit of faith in yourself, and make some decisions as grown-ups. Okay? Because you've already gotten to third year. Yeah, and I know that this is stressful because you've gotten to third year and now you just want to get out. And every assignment counts, right? But trust me, if you've gotten this far, then you clearly have the ability to deal with assessments. Okay, even for those of you that may be doing the course again, you've done it before, you should have information on how to fix it for the next time, right? So everything you're asking me is about getting validation to say this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Don't worry about it. If you pay attention to the assessment instructions, if you look at the rubric, if you follow the guidance that's given, yeah, you'll be fine. Just do your best, but stop looking for my validation. Get started and see what it looks like on the page. See if it works. Play with it. Make it work. Do your readings. Yeah? Don't look for the easy option. The easy option is tell me what to do. As teachers, how successful is that as a pedagogical strategy? Not very. Why is that not successful?
You have a shallow understanding then, which is motivated out of just trying to do the goal.
Excellent. What is it that doing the activity gives you? Understanding, a deeper understanding, competence. Okay? So, use the exercise not just as a way of getting a grade, but as a way of developing your skills, developing your competence in a different skill set, gaining confidence and abilities. Yeah? That will make you better teachers. Yeah? Does that make sense? I know that is a difficult pill to swallow when all you want is for me to tell you what to do. And all you want is for an easy solution. I get it. I get how stressful it is. But what I'm suggesting is that you don't overthink it. Don't waste your energy on the unnecessary stress. You have the ability to read journals. You have the ability to summarize journals. You have the necessary abilities to do this assessment. You have the ability to analyse what's relevant. Clearly you have the ability to identify a substantial research question out of a research problem. You have all the nuts and bolts required to be successful in this assessment. All you have to do is do it. Yeah? Have a bit of faith in yourself. You guys, just do it.
I've got a question, but for everyone really.
Yeah?
For anyone using Poplet, whatever it's called.
Yeah, share with us some of your experiences in Poplet.
Do you know you can zoom in and out all the way, back and forth? Is there a button where you can set it on A3, so you know how big A3 is? Because I might have like this
If you
big.
save it as a PDF, it like puts it onto like what like a Word document size would be. That's the only way I've figured out how to like see what it would look like when you
On
put it
A3
on
size.
a
Okay, that's good size. You print it
yeah.
out.
So if you just keep exporting it as a PDF, it kind of
Oh.
shows the document.
I think it works at 2 and A3
Yeah.
printer.
Oh, does it?
You can zoom in and out so that you can just, it can be A3, but you can zoom in and out to see the whole thing.
You're writing and stuff like that. Yeah, but I wasn't sure if there's a way to actually know how big it looks on A3 size.
Listen up folks, you can all benefit from these comments guys, you can benefit from them.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Excellent. And remember guys, there's heaps of examples. Yeah, or there's a few examples. Not heaps. There's 2 examples. No, you're all good. There's 2 examples.
And those examples of mine were also scared. They look really good.
Yeah, they
Do
do.
they?
They're so
I reckon they look that good. Listen up folks. What did you say?
I just, one of them just looks real busy.
Yeah.
They're not perfect.
Oh, yeah, no.
They're not perfect.
Are they good, but like, is it worth looking at them?
You've given the game away. You've given the game away. Why don't you just have a look and work it out for yourself as a grown-up? But you look at it and you go, that's too busy, I'm going to take a different strategy. That's going to hold you in good stead, right? Yeah? Have some faith in yourself, guys. You're going to be fine. Listen, what I forgot to do at the beginning of the class was the roll. Please indulge me and listen for a moment whilst I call your names out. Robert.
Yeah.
Yes. Chloe. Yes. Karina, where are you? Karina, there you are. Excellent, thank you. Katrina.
Yep.
Where are we? Emma. Samantha.
Yep.
Gabrielle.
Yes.
Hello, Gabrielle.
Can I get Gabby, please?
Yes, I'll put you down as Gabby.
Appreciate it.
Joe, you were here. Elizabeth was here. Trish was here. Emily was here. Andrew is here. Kristen was here. Yes. Rachel, thank you for being on time today. How amazing was that? I know, that's wonderful. Does that mean that you're cured? Kamina.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kamina. Jessica. Louise. Lauren.
Yeah.
That Lauren. Trent. Lauren. Kate is here. Laura is here, of course. And Matthew. Sweet. Thank you very much, everybody. Does anybody have any questions?
Do we actually have to print out a response to him? Because then don't you have to...
It's got to be attached, coming out the front.
And where did you find that information? Excellent.
Or subject outline, somewhere, it's somewhere I've seen it. Okay, well, it must be.
I'm not going to lie, subject outline is not that good for information. Moodle is awesome. It's not awesome, but it has all the information in the world. Thank you, folks. Excellent today. Good work. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me know if there's anything groundbreaking. I'm skipping lunch, I'm sorry, Lauren. If it's high expectations.
My problem is I just don't want you to be too general or too specific.
Yeah.
It's finding that balance.
Yeah.
The topics that everybody's suggesting are really cool. What I'm worried about is when people get it so small, so it's like, is this a yes or no situation? It's like, well, that's not going to get you very far. Well, they're asking a question that's going to make their heads explode because they've got too much stuff going on. You know? So the broad areas that Kent suggested are really good. But what you're doing is you're not, they're so broad that you are going to have filters to help you organise the information. And that's what I was talking about when I said a bit of focus will help. Yeah?
Right.
Who was next?
So mine was iPads and education as my main topic. Is that alright?
iPads and education is
Yeah,
the
and
main
then I've
topic.
got
So
all my little pockets.
excellent. And have you got enough pockets to be able to set up like a viable direction for focused research when it comes to the next set of assessment?
I've got 5 pockets. So
5 pockets or 5 themes?
5 themes.
Excellent. There's a
Yeah.
difference, remember?
So it's like special education, plus, the different subjects, different age groups. So is that alright?
I'm not going to tell you if it's all right because
Okay.
remember, you have a bit of what you need to do is to convince me that it's all right.
Okay.
That's your challenge. So your ability to convince me that that is the right topic is to show me that you've done enough research, that you understand the situation, and show me that you have enough of an awareness of the situation that you can tell me what information is relevant, not just all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in order for you to tell me what's relevant, you have to have an idea of kind of where you're going.
Yeah. Okay. Alright.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. It's a very broad topic, so
It is a broad
I
topic.
guess I haven't covered all the research that's ever been out there.
No, and nor should you, nor can you.
Okay, good. That's
You
what I was
can't.
wondering.
So
I was like, I can't do that.
So if it is so broad that there is all this stuff going on,
Yeah.
apply a focus now, a small focus. So
Yeah.
what was your broad topic? It was
iPads and education.
iPads and
Or like
education.
tablets and education.
Okay, excellent. So if that's too broad, then you can refine it a little bit already.
And sometimes I refer to it as tablets and sometimes I refer to it as iPads. It was iPads for that particular article. Is that alright?
In any good paper, you need to define your terminology. So you have to decide. Is
I
an
just-
iPad a tablet?
Yes.
I just go with tablets.
Okay. Even if the article says iPads, change it to tablet?
No, again, like you have to decide. But ultimately, an iPad is a tablet.
Yeah.
A tablet's
That's
an
what I
iPad,
thought.
right?
It's the same thing.
Yeah, but but what you're dealing with is similar technologies and similar interfaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the research that I found, it would equally apply to both. Like.
Maybe you can make a decision. Maybe you
Yeah.
can. So you can decide: am I referring to both? If so, then I'm not talking about iPads. I'm talking about tablets. If you're referring to stuff that only deals with iPads, you're not talking about tablets. You're talking about iPads.
And what if you're talking about stuff that's for both?
You tell me.
Then I do both.
You demonstrate that you
Okay.
understand the terminology and the relevance of the terminology in the